Welcome to Consumer Times. In this episode, we break down everything you need to know about US tariffs, what they are, how they work, and most importantly, how they affect both American consumers and businesses. From higher prices at the checkout to shifts in global trade relationships, tariffs have far reaching consequences that touch every aspect of our economy. Whether you are a consumer wondering why prices keep rising or a business owner concerned about export challenges, this video gives you the complete picture. Hello and welcome back to Consumer Times, where we cut through the noise to bring you the facts that matter to your wallet and your daily life. Today, we're tackling a topic that's been making headlines and affecting your shopping bills: US tariffs. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what tariffs are, how they impact businesses trying to sell to America, what they mean for you as a consumer, and the ripple effects they create throughout our entire economy. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is a tariff? Simply put, a tariff is a tax imposed by the government on goods imported from other countries. When a company in China, Mexico, or Germany wants to sell products in the United States, they may have to pay a tariff, essentially an entry fee, before those goods can enter the American market. The tariff is usually calculated as a percentage of the product's value. For example, if the tariff rate on steel is 25%, and a foreign company imports $1 million worth of steel, they'll owe $250,000 in tariff taxes to the US government. Governments use tariffs for several reasons. Sometimes it's to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. If American steel manufacturers are struggling to compete with cheaper imported steel, the government might impose tariffs to level the playing field. Other times, tariffs are used as political leverage in trade negotiations or as retaliation against countries that impose their own trade barriers. In recent years, we've seen tariffs used as bargaining chips in everything from national security debates to disputes over intellectual property theft. Now, let's talk about how tariffs impact exporters who want to sell their products to the United States. When foreign companies face high tariffs, they're caught in a difficult position. They essentially have three choices, and none of them are ideal. First, they can absorb the cost of the tariff themselves, which means accepting lower profit margins. This might work for large corporations with deep pockets, but for small and medium-sized businesses, this option can quickly become unsustainable. Second, they can pass the cost along to American buyers by raising their prices, but this makes their products less competitive against domestic alternatives or imports from countries that don't face the same tariff barriers. Third, they can try to reduce costs elsewhere, perhaps by cutting corners on quality, reducing worker wages, or finding cheaper materials, but this often leads to inferior products that consumers don't want. Beyond these immediate challenges, tariffs create longer-term strategic problems for exporters. Companies may decide to relocate their manufacturing operations to countries that have better trade relationships with the United States. We've seen this happen repeatedly where businesses shift production from China to Vietnam or Mexico to avoid specific tariff regimes. This reshuffling of global supply chains takes time, costs money, and creates economic uncertainty. Some exporters might simply decide that the American market isn't worth the hassle anymore and focus their efforts on other regions where trade barriers are lower. This reduces competition in the US market, which ironically can lead to higher prices for American consumers even when the goal was to protect them. Speaking of American consumers, let's address the elephant in the room. How do tariffs actually affect your wallet? Here's the truth that often gets lost in political rhetoric. Tariffs are ultimately paid by consumers. While the foreign exporter technically pays the tariff to US customs, that cost doesn't just disappear. In most cases, it gets passed along through the supply chain until it reaches you at the checkout counter. That washing machine, those sneakers, that smartphone. If they're made with imported components or manufactured overseas, tariffs likely played a role in their final price tag. Research has consistently shown that American consumers bear the brunt of tariff costs. A study on the tariffs imposed during recent trade disputes found that American households were paying an average of several $100s more per year due to increased prices on everything from electronics to clothing to household goods. The impact isn't evenly distributed either. Lower income families, who spend a larger percentage of their income on basic necessities and consumer goods, feel the pinch more acutely than wealthier households. When the price of everyday items rises due to tariffs, it's the families already living paycheck to paycheck who struggle the most. But tariffs don't just make individual products more expensive, they create a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. Let's consider the broader economic consequences. When American companies that rely on imported materials face higher costs, they may need to raise prices for their own products, reduce their workforce, delay expansion plans, or cut back on research and development. A furniture manufacturer that imports wood, a tech company that relies on microchips, a construction firm that uses foreign steel, all of these businesses face tough decisions when tariffs increase their input costs. There's also the issue of retaliation. When the United States imposes tariffs on another country, that country often responds with its own tariffs on American exports. This creates a vicious cycle where American farmers can't sell their soybeans to China, American manufacturers struggle to export machinery to Europe, and American service providers face new barriers in foreign markets. The result is lost jobs, reduced economic growth, and increased economic uncertainty that makes businesses hesitant to invest and expand. On the flip side, proponents of tariffs argue they can protect American jobs in specific industries, encourage domestic manufacturing, and provide the government with leverage in trade negotiations. These are valid points worth considering. The challenge is weighing these potential benefits against the very real costs that consumers and businesses face. Economic research suggests that while tariffs may save jobs in protected industries, they often cost jobs in other sectors and lead to a net economic loss when all factors are considered. So what's the bottom line? Tariffs are a complex policy tool with winners and losers. While they may offer short-term protection for specific industries, they typically result in higher prices for consumers, reduced choices in the marketplace, and economic inefficiencies that hurt overall growth. As informed consumers, it's important to understand that trade policy isn't abstract. It directly affects what you pay at the store, what jobs are available in your community, and the overall health of the economy. At Consumer Times, we believe in empowering you with knowledge so you can make informed decisions and understand the forces shaping your economic reality. Tariffs might seem like a distant policy debate happening in Washington, but they're actually very much present in your daily life. Every time you shop, every time you compare prices, every time you wonder why that product costs more than it used to. Thanks for watching Consumer Times. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our consumer-focused content. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you noticed price increases due to tariffs? Do you think they're worth it to protect American jobs? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay informed and keep